this is all about our life story, but it's just a lot of things that have happened that I don't discuss as freely as I would about other things. I lived life when I was younger, and I have to experience everything, because if I don't, then I'll never learn from it, because I learned from bad experiences. But I learned that they were bad, and so I stopped. And this little sucker, this eating disorder thing, kind of stuck with me, and I didn't really notice it. It was like a leech, or like a tick that just kind of stuck to you, and you walk through a forest and you come back home, and 2 weeks later you're like, what the hell is that on my leg? I went to a counselor when I was 9, therapist, and the way that she kind of taught me how to grieve is every time I told her the right answer, or what she thought was the right answer, she'd give me like a Twix or candy bar or peanut butter cup, and I would just kind of hoard that, and I would bring that home with me, and I'd start binging. And I lived with my dad, and I didn't want him to know about it, so I kind of just kept it aside. Or when I went, to help bake with my grandmother, I would steal chocolate chips in like little sandwich bags, and I would bring it home with me in a little porcelain cup thing that was hidden in my closet, and I would just eat that. And I became very good, very skillful at rearranging things, and that way they knew nothing was misplaced. But I knew that it was wrong, so I kind of stopped. And I picked up other bad habits, which was self-injury. And that started really young. I remember when I was like 13 that I loved the idea of scars. And I loved the idea that, you can write your story on your body, instead of writing it down on paper. It wasn't until like a couple months ago that I was like laughing, because I was so obsessed with scarring. And I used to cut on my stomach a lot, that you can't even really see them anymore because I have stretch marks. And I was like, oh, that's nice. It really was like an addiction. So I left one addiction and went to the next. I can blame my eating disorder on a lot of things, is what it all comes down to. I can put my blame on so many people's shoulders, but it's not going to matter. I'm the reason a lot of this happened, because I decided to be quiet, and I still am very quiet about certain things I don't discuss with anybody, because those are my secrets. And I remember when I went to the doctor when I was 9, they wanted to make sure my heart was fine. The lady told me for the first time that I was morbidly obese, and that I needed to get a nutritionist, because she would, get me back on track, tell me the good things to eat or not. And I just felt like saying to her at 9, I remember this to this day because I wrote it down, I just wanted to tell the lady, I may be morbidly obese, but at least I'm alive. And to this day, which is so unfortunate, I think that I'm alive now. And if I didn't have this eating disorder, I probably wouldn't be. Because this is how I grieved, and this is how I coped. And even though I'm not healing, and even though I know it's wrong, and that I'm very screwed up about it, at least I'm alive. Eating disorders are so ravenous to a person's soul. It fucks someone up so completely. But I didn't have it, then where would I be? Because that's where I'm getting my comfort. And that's what's supplying my needs. And if I stopped, then that would be traumatic, because I would be empty again. and I would do bad things again. And I don't want that. The fact that by 22 I'm already having physical problems with my body. The fact that doesn't even, force me to stop my problem. That means something, because I don't think it's so much the control anymore, because I've done it. It's the fact that I feel lackluster without it, and I feel less of a person. I feel that my eating disorder is part of who I am, and if I didn't have food as a constant, problem in my life, that's the only commitment I have is to my food. So where would I be? So I just, I don't want to think anymore about that stuff anymore. And I don't want to associate Megan with that girl anymore, because I've changed so much from who I was. I can't be that girl anymore. And then I'm at a standstill, because it's like, where do I go from here? Tug of war right now, because I can't bear to stop, but I can't stand to go on. I don't want to tell my story, because I don't really want to remember it. I don't want to remember any of it. And I like my bubble, my bubble of denial, because it keeps me safe. And it keeps me from hurting. And it keeps me thinking I'm normal. I want to be past this. I really do. And I'm going to need some help. But I think it could be done. I just, it's going to take time. So, thank you. I'm so sorry about this. Thank you again. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend.